I am Jordan Smith. I am a senior biology major at Fisk University and a third-year student health ambassador for the Meharry Medical College HBCU Wellness Project. The topic that I have chosen to do my research on for the past 3 years is infant mortality. And specifically for this project, I am talking about reducing the risk of SIDS in Nashville, Tennessee. So the purpose of this study is to provide health information to African American women between ages 18 and 25 at HBCUs to provide information focused on infant mortality with hopes of reducing or preventing this health disparity. And so to do this, I presented 2 days worth of health informationals that focused on infant mortality. Day 1 was presented by Ms. Mashan Sadiq on the public health aspect of infant mortality, and Day 2 was presented by Ms. Patricia Scott on safe sleep. And so the methods and demographics of this project were that the research population was recruited through social media and word of mouth. Educational posts were posted on these platforms weekly, and each participant was given a pre-test during both days of my health informational. And afterwards, an educational presentation was given by both Ms. Mashan Sadiq and Ms. Patricia Scott. And then afterwards, a post-test was administered to determine what was learned during the educational presentation. So here's a few statistics from day 1. We had a 90.2% female audience. 100% of our participants were between the ages of 18 and 22, and 39.3% of our participants came from a household with a $60,000 annual income. From day 2, we had very similar statistics. We had an 87.7% female population. Once again, 100% of our participants were between the ages of 18 and 22, and 38.3% of our participants were from a household with a $60,000 annual income. And so during our educational events, we gave a pre-test and a post-test to determine what the audience had learned after hearing the educational presentations. And so as you can see, there was a clear increase in knowledge that was learned from the information that was given. And so here we can see a question on exclusively breastfeeding and how that impacts infant mortality rates. And we see we had about a 20% increase in knowledge in the correct answer from the pre-test to the post-test. And this was the same finding for day 2, but also all of the rest of the questions that were asked on the pre and post-test. There was a clear increase in knowledge. And here is the outcome of the presentation. Based on the results of the post survey, each participant showed a clear increase of knowledge at the conclusion of the presentation. And so at the bottom here, we can see a screenshot of all of the participants, or at least some of the participants that were listening in on the second day of the health informational. On the top left, we can see Ms. Patricia Scott giving her information on safe sleep. And on the right, we can see Ms. Mashan Sadiq giving her informational on public health. During both days, we asked the participants to create sort of a little word cloud of what they thought of what comes to mind when they hear the words infant mortality. And some of the answers that were given are at the bottom left. They said tragedy, unfair, sensitive, tragic, preventable. These are just a few of the words that our audience gave us during this time. And so this was my 3rd year with the HBCU Wellness Project and my 3rd intervention. My first was on nutrition and its effect on infant mortality, and my 2nd was on safe sleep. And so through this 3rd intervention, I showed growth by reaching more people and teaching more participants preventative measures. And I also was able to include COVID-19 into this intervention by talking about how infants are exposed to the virus are at a higher risk than older children. And I was also able to help young adults begin applying this knowledge by working with their nieces and nephews and using this information during that time. So I would like to give a few special acknowledgements to Fisk University as well as Meharry Medical College. Thank you.